One possible justification for torture is that it's an appropriate punishment. Now here I'm using punishment in a very specific sense, right? The idea is that someone has done something so that they deserve to be treated in certain ways, right? And the harm that is done to them is being done, right? Not as necessarily as a deterrent to other people or for some other social purpose, but simply because they deserve it. Right? Now here's why we're not really going to get into that. For our purposes, this argument doesn't really get off the ground. Here's why. Right? As I said in another segment, when I talk about torture, I'm assuming the basic idea that there are some things, right, that are beyond the limits, right, no matter what the person has done, right? So it isn't a matter of proportion, right? So if you think that some, very, very harsh treatment of a person, if you thought that putting someone on the rack, right, was justified for certain sorts of especially horrible crimes, well, then the argument doesn't exactly get off the ground, right? Then that's coming close to saying, well, we really don't think there is such a thing as torture, or we don't believe in the inherent wrongness of torture, right? That basically, I mean, you could go so far as to say any conceivable action to a guilty person, right? Basically, there's no punishment that's too much for certain severe crimes. And if you think that, well, then you're probably going to think torture is justified in some circumstances. Right? What we're going to look at more closely is the other possible justifications for torture.